Hey, what is up, everyone? This is Ete with episode number 41 of Eco Lawn Science. Today I want to jump right in. This is a question we have been getting. We are kind of in our peak season here in Park City, Utah with our Eco Lawn service company. And the biggest question that I've noticed homeowners have over the last week and a half, and I see it, my technicians are making notes, they're talking to the homeowners, and everyone's saying this: I got crabgrass, what can you do for my crabgrass? So I kind of wanted to just make this a short one, mostly so I can send this to some of our clients and others and just kind of clarify so that they're not expecting one thing. Because what I have found is, they may, first of all, if it is crabgrass, the broadleaf products, broadleaf weed controls, organic, inorganic, they're not going to do a thing for crabgrass. There are products for crabgrass. But more importantly, we need to make sure it is crabgrass. So crabgrass, it's actually, a date of reference will help. Today's May 13th, and crabgrass will not be germinated yet. If you're seeing grasses that you think are crabgrass this early in the season, for most parts of the country, it's not crabgrass. It's a summer weed. People put down pre-emergence now and for the last 6 weeks to prevent them from germinating in the summer, but it is not crabgrass. Crabgrass comes up in the summer, especially when it's very hot, very dry. Your temperatures get above 80. The lawn's getting stressed out. Crabgrass is looking for a place to pop up, a weak spot in your lawn. So maybe your sprinklers are down or it's drought stress. That's where you're going to find your crabgrass, or along the edges, these hot pockets. So first things first is you want to make sure you can identify it as being crabgrass. But maybe there's a chance of it, but I've never seen it in May, and I've never really seen it in June either. It usually comes up in July in this area. And so, first of all, make sure it's most likely not crabgrass if you're seeing it now. If it is, we have selective products that we can spray on your lawn that won't harm your grasses, but they will target specifically crabgrass. And I'm going to talk about that in another episode. What I do want to talk about, okay, well, if it's not crabgrass, you're telling me, I'd say, then what is it? So we have been here in Park City. We label it as a pasture grass. That's not technically the term. I just call it pasture grass because it's a wild grass that's coming in from often native areas or pastures, which, many properties, many communities are built around trails and golf courses and wild area. We love it here in Utah, and it looks amazing. But the downside is its seed can spill into your lawn, can blow by wind, by water, any way. And so you get these grasses. They're not uniform with your Kentucky bluegrass lawn or your, whatever type of grass it is, but you get these big clumps and you get chunks. So if you look at your lawn and you've got these big patches of ugly grasses, but they're not the same as your grass, well, it's not going to be crabgrass this time of year. We're going to call it a pasture grass. Now, not the technical, but the street names for these, it could be one of 5 or 6 or 10 grasses. So it could be a wide fescue. It could be a poa. It could be an orchard grass, a K31 tall fescue, a goose grass, a quack grass. Any of those, just so you know, we'll call that, in my company anyway, we call that a pasture grass. It's kind of a general label as it's an undesirable grass, but it's not crabgrass. And the reason that's important is because, like I said, we have sprays for crabgrass that you can apply on it and you'll hurt the crabgrass, not the lawn, not the turf grass. With these types of pasture grasses, so including any of the ones that I've listed, that's not the case. The only way to take care of that is to spot treat those areas with a non-selective. A non-selective weed control or herbicide is one that means it can't select what it kills, so it's going to kill everything. So if you have a lawn that's 95% bluegrass and you've got maybe a 20 by 20 patch of this pasture grass or one of these wild grasses, sometimes we call them junk grasses, the only way is you've got to use a non-selective, which is going to kill anything within a radius, so it might leach out a little bit. So if you have a 20 by 20, you might have a 22 by 22 dead spot after you did the treatment. Then you have to let it die for a couple weeks, come in, remove all that dead grass, and then you have to replant. So either resod, reseed, hydroseed. And so it's a complicated thing, and you don't want to do that in the summer. In the heat of the summer, you want to move that more into this early spring or fall. But sometimes in the early spring, the grasses are still dormant, so you don't really know what's going on. So you really, early fall is going to be your best time because that gives you time. Kill it off in the summer and then reseed it in the fall. And so, yeah, that was the biggest question that I'm getting now. So it's not crabgrass yet. When that time comes, let us know. Crabgrass has hairy leaves on it. They're very different if you were to actually Google and look at it. But just to know, they don't come up till July, August, sometimes into September. And so what you're seeing right now, we're going to call it a pasture grass. And the only thing we can do is use a non-selective, which will kill. So if you have a bunch of different spots of this pasture grass, we'd have to go and you have a bunch of dead spots in your lawn and take a couple weeks to die out and then a couple weeks to grow. So it's going to be 5 or 6 weeks. Unless you were to sod it, you can kill it off, come and sod it, and instantly have it, the grass that you want. It spreads by wind. It spreads by rain, by mowers. I mean, everything you can think of. So in an area like this, it's very hard to not have. And so as long as you keep it mowed, it looks somewhat uniform. You just want to make sure it doesn't continue to spread and seed and then eventually take over your lawn. So having a good program, fertility program, will help to minimize its spreading. And of course, if it gets too bad, then you can make the decision, okay, I'm going to come in here, we're going to kill off these areas, and then we're going to have to reseed. So anyway, that's a quick one on that. I hope this helps. I'm going to do some more episodes about crabgrass, about the products that, how to identify it, the products that kill it. But today was just about pasture grass. Hope you have a great day. I hope this helps.